Good morning, everybody. All right, so the big news was out, and it was pretty much a yawn. Guess what else more can come out to confirm what the consensus now believes is that they're going to cut interest rates. So we're finally here. Um, they'll cut in September, and I'm kind of thinking, what else more does the market have to go on after this miraculous recovery from that sell-off, where you know all of a sudden consensus was, oh my goodness, uh, you know, we're not going to get a cut or even worse. And then the shift automatically happened. So the 2 year gapped up, that's a pretty significant amount. And the 10 year moved up a little bit. So interest rates coming down on the news, more confirmation. And, not that it was a big deal, but, there was this initial breakout on the spiders and that got sold into. Hasn't broken, this is overnight support, of course. Sitting on that pivot, it could recover from there. But a bit of a surprise late in the day yesterday was, this sell-off that occurred, where initially it was like, okay, consolidating at the high of the day, things are acting really well. If they maintain that, it'll go higher, because this was a consolidation after this move up, and then it gets rejected. So now we have a topping tail bar. So most times, because the markets have been moving up, we talk about these continuation patterns and bottoming tail bars, which are one of the my favorites, and because you have this again correction bar and this little move to the downside, and it communicates in that buyers are lurking below. So I'm talking about this bar here, and this was in an uptrend. And of course, this isn't an uptrend, or maybe a big wide sideways trend. But buyers were there at that lower pivot and drove it back up. Good sign. So yesterday, we have a topping tail bar that took out two bars highs. So there's a rejection up at this prior reversal. We're still indecisive, meaning it's noise until proven otherwise, which requires either a breakdown below these lows or it can go sideways. Probably a lot of people have taken off today, for a 4 day weekend. And maybe next week we find out whether, this move up can push higher or whether we head down to this unfilled gap where buyers should show up again. So essentially, we're in the middle of nowhere, continues to be in the middle of nowhere. And the big news turned out to be pretty much no news. Uh, Hourly chart, let me expand that a little bit. Sideways for a while. So after that move up, in part, the assumption is, hey, because of this strength, buy the dip, it'll go higher. Well, it's still making pivot highs and pivot lows, which equals indecision. Um, People waiting and to see which way it'll go. And so, of course, we do. A higher time frame weekly, and we've got today left, but it appears unless there's a gigantic turnaround, we'll end with a slowing momentum bar at a prior high resistance. And then as we go into next week, do we violate a prior week's low or not? Which leads us back to indecision. We don't know. So, probably continue bouncing or ping-ponging off of support and resistance until something more meaningful happens. I'll get right to SPX. Right? Neither strike got hit yesterday. Most days it does not, majority of days. I pointed out this 5600 and this 5650. Those are the two largest open interest expiring today, and this 5650 is huge. So the probability, especially now you see the topping tail from yesterday, the possibility of getting through that today, I think is probably 99.9%. It ain't happening. opinions. Opinions are not facts. That being said, we see it couldn't get through it here. It couldn't get through it yesterday. And it's highly unlikely it's getting through it today. So with a bar strike up there at 56.70, and we'll just double check that. And you can see the open interest at 56.50 over here, increased a couple of thousand contracts. So, hey, all right. So I'm just checking this here. Let's just call this 56.65. That come down a little bit to get at least $1, right? So with the little move down, it moved down 5 strikes. No big deal. You're still above yesterday's topping tail and the biggest open interest. To me, that's a no-brainer. And if you want to get a little tighter, of course, you just go and look at the option table and see, okay, am I comfortable with 56.55 above that number? I think yes. I think yes. And then just pick your distance and down below, just based on the trading range that it's been in and the bottoming tail bar that formed down here. There's no pivots, but it doesn't matter. A bar like that's going to have pivots in a lower time frame. Buyers down there, and likely they would show up again if it was able to get down there. So it is, in my opinion, again, it isn't going to either one of those strikes today. And this one probably maybe even went a little lower because of this one came down. But let's take a look. 55, 45, 85 by 95. You want to go, 55, 50, come up a little bit. Odds are it's going to be okay. Everything about a trade is about odds, correct? So it is what it is. So there's trading range and the strike down there, down below those pivot lows. Let me just go back and look at spiders if they're doing anything more here. Yeah, they're just hanging on those pivots there in the middle of the trading range. You can see. So again, yawn. Nothing going on here. Maybe by the open something will happen. The cues are just marking time in the middle of yesterday's rejection bar. But we talked yesterday about hooks, right? Strong moves up and pullbacks looking to hook up, and it hooked up yesterday, and it took out the highs, and it got rejected. It couldn't hang up there like it appeared like it was going to do, until it didn't. So surprise, surprise. No, it's not going. And sometimes we say it went down because it didn't go up. And maybe traders, whoever, just said, you know what? Going away for the long weekend tomorrow. This thing ain't going up. Screw it. Hit the bid. Let's go home. And so weekly red bar. Sometimes you just, rather than looking at all the technicals and this and that, is just, hey, maybe it's just, people just said, hey, long weekend. Let's call it a week and go home. All right. Just looking around, Dow marking time, new highs, poke up, new highs, rejection, little doji bar, back and forth, doing nothing. Probably going to have a lot more of doing nothing. Transports, marking time, not doing much of anything. Futures are still up a little bit. Inside bar, doing nothing. And, this acted pretty darn good yesterday, started moving up, compared to whatever. Inside bar today, so doing nothing. Bitcoin, marking time, doing nothing. Gold was a little lower and came back up again, but consolidating at new all-time highs. Trading range, 65-minute, doing more of nothing. Hey, coming to summer doldrums, whatever. Silver, inside bar, trading range. Crude oil, just whipping back and forth. Little sell-off there as interest rates come down. And so I'm interested here to see, of course, what might change direction. And of course, as we get into September, from, what would ignite the potential, maybe the highly anticipated September correction. Um, and so, I mean, at some interest rates going down is a positive for equities, but at some point it's like, why are they continuing to go down? One of the things I heard on CNBC, something I believe I already know just from my own observations of what's going on around, my world, so to speak. And the fella, I don't know who he was, doesn't really matter. Anyway, he's talking about visiting car dealerships and boat dealerships and so on. And he's like being told nobody's buying anything. Yet they keep talking about, the soft landing and the consumer strong and this and that. And then you have this guy saying, hey, nobody's buying anything. And people, of course, are buying groceries at higher levels. And talked about, which we also know, all of this credit card debt and, 20% interest and so on. And so, look, we have to have some bias, and our bias is based on technical analysis, which right now we see things are just chopping back and forth as indecision. And we know historically September could be a bad month. Maybe it is, especially after prices have moved up as sharply as they have, which could just be a normal correction, not a big deal, because of the strength of the move up. But it could, individual stocks could get pounded pretty good. So, so do interest rates keep coming down? Does oil keep coming down? Does oil break these lows, or does it just pop back up off of the bottom of the range? So just a lot of thinking and a lot of things doing nothing, and we'll see how it unfolds, into next month. Let's see, biotechs acting pretty good, but they got rejected yesterday. Um, Regional banks marking time, so that's a positive. XLF is at new all-time highs. That's a great positive, but we got a range expansion bar. So one of the technical concepts is when you get a range expansion bar after a momentum move, it often leads to slowing momentum and some kind of corrective price action. But just like the broader markets that had this strong move, corrective price action could just be a move back down to what was resistance becoming support, and buyers show up again. So at this time, we have really nothing to create an overly bearish bias. It's more of a bullish to neutral one, and we need more information to see how things unfold. Uh, our internals that, at the end of the one day, you remember this was just above the upper band. In addition, I showed you, I think this chart here, down here, there was an excessive amount of call buying on this day. It was pretty much, nothing's happened since then. So, I just find the more information I look for to tell me or guide me as to what's happening, the more it leads me to indecision. Well, I've said that word now, I don't know, half a dozen times this morning. So I think everybody should get it. Yeah. I'll take a look at that, Alex. Yeah. We talked a little about that yesterday, but this is a positive chart. It come up to resistance, pulling back, one of those little hooks. See, one of my drawings, or that's not it. We talked about it here. Mid caps, holding up. Yeah. Just looking at this. This is one of our ETFs doing well. And FDN, internet, everything got rejected yesterday. So, was it, hey, long weekend thing, or is it just noise within this consolidation? We're going to have to wait for more information to see how that all unfolds. Just more of the same, little selling there on the pop up this morning. Yeah. Yesterday I talked about this probably getting near a turning point. But with oil coming down, why should this go down? Well, sometimes that decouples. But WEB. This is the banks. China, AWE. Maybe. It's down near this pivot. It's retesting here. Maybe it can turn around. EB. Yeah, similar. It's down near that major support on a weekly time frame. Might take a little while uh, to develop. It's gapping up a decent amount here today. You can see the cursor on the daily chart. And yeah, a lot of nothing going on there. That dipping back down, just a lot of noise whipping back and forth, back and forth. Yeah. Semiconductors, you all saw yesterday, only as when explaining about the hook, that was looking like, hey, the hook is coming into play. We're going to get a green bar closing near the highs. And then, no, that ain't happening. That's gapping up a little bit. So maybe this is part of a turn where some of these semiconductor stocks we'll see into maybe the end of the day or into next week. What happens. That's it. Have a great holiday, and I shall turn it over to Mr. Gibby.
Good morning. I'm on my laptop here, Costa Rica. So I have my mic, but in the past, everybody says this is better. Raul has two trades for us. Let's look at those, Doc and WLT. I can immediately tell this has light volume, right? That's the immediate clue, the 15-minute chart looking spotty, and then I immediately look down to my volume. But the pattern is I did. Sorry. And I have really good internet at this house, so hopefully that won't be a problem. So light volume, but yeah, nice pattern there. Doc, it's a deeper retracement. From this buy setup to get extended like that, you expect to pull back, but that's a deep one. But it still looks good. I like it. Let's go right to earnings here. Marvel, 78 bucks. Bullish all time frames, but you need a pullback. Dell, 116.5. Okay, so it's like a sloppy inverse head and shoulders. So this would be a good 30-minute high. I want to see if it can prove itself to hold the gain. And then the target would be, that could be a big target. Yeah, I don't know, 123. So that I like. Lulu, not a great pattern, but deep retracement, pullback, bullish gap. So that's a beautiful 0DT put spread at the juice. Sam and or Greg, remember I asked you, we were talking about doing a naked 190s on this. Beautiful W bottom on the weekly with what we call a new low plus. Look, down, up, retest, and it made a new low. That's a beautiful W bottom. I didn't do any myself. Oh, this is just here because I had earnings yesterday and I was watching it for 0DTE and some guy came out. And so explain this to me. Some guy comes out and gives us a downgrade with a target of $90. Aren't you a little off on that target? It's already 84. I don't understand this analyst. Triple D. I forget what the news was. That's a nasty death trend, all time frames. I remember the stock being at 90. I'm not gonna expand the chart, but I totally remember this at 93. I don't know why well, you know, I'm curious now. There you go. Look how good my memory is. Look at that. It went to 97. And I just remember it being a Climo at 93. Look at that. Wow. So that's whatever, you know, that's 3D printing. That was like the new fad for a couple of stocks. And now it looks like it's going out of business. Things change. Yeah, Intel. Yeah, yeah, Intel's. Yep, that's good. Who the heck knows if it's a short-term low, long-term low? But yeah, that's a nice gap from a bottoming pattern. There was some news about it maybe spinning off some stuff, try to make some money. Lunar $6, big gap, but gap's too big and too sloppy. No pattern. FOMO. Why? Why the heck am I looking at FOMO? Is this a typo? I have data on the weekly, but no, there's no data for 24. I have no idea why I took that there, but let's forget about it. ESTC getting whacked, man. See, I need more 5-minute thumbnails. Did one of you watch this for an excessive gap, 0 DTE trade? I'm watching these two right here, Dell and PDD, but this is a definite watch. You know, big old nasty gap. The volatility is going to, you know, puts are going to be jacked. This is a Climo, a gap up over 2 bars highs. That's a nice scan. This is a beautiful day trade idea. If it can hold, I'm not going to rush in the deal. Well, I got PDD. Yeah, right here. 5-minute chart. So that's a tier 1 setup for the morning. Autodesk 270, bullish but no pattern, LRCX. I don't see any prints here. Yeah, there were no prints, so I don't know. Come back. All right, NVIDIA, obviously the whole world was talking about this all week long. You know, it was a kind of a bull rectangle, but it broke down. It has a void, flagpole. So we did a beautiful call spread on that. Here, I don't know if I gave you all the adjustment earlier. But let's tighten the stop, take our money. We have a beautiful gain on that. I even said yesterday to be a day trade short. And right here over lunch, I gave you two entries of breakdowns. SOLV. Oh, Greg got some of that yesterday. Let me split the loan into the trades. They don't have CNBC down here in Costa Rica, so I'm watching Bloomberg. And Schwab, bottoming pattern. I gave this as a shorting of 62 puts. When I was on the airplane yesterday, I set my alarm. I did not get filled. I was hoping I would. If any of you did, tell me. So I just left the trade pending. RCL, open position. I tightened the stop to right under this pivot, under 166. If any of you are in it. Mercy, mercy. I don't see a gap, but it's trying to make the turn after a bullish gap on support. That I like. What I don't like is there's no bottoming tail. So a tail gap reversal, a something something bar would make the turn so much more confident because this could actually trigger and fail and then come all, deeper into this gap area. But it's I like it, and I just told you how I would like it better. I'll set the room at 38. Apple, breakout. That's zero. This thing just doesn't have good juice. But zero DTE, and let's see how it closes. So we talk about Amazon. Another one of these deep retracement buy setup, but it has to get above here. I set an alarm at 174.20. Coin breaking down. We had a call spread on this last week, but stopped out break even. Then we were going to do a put spread, which never triggered. And now it's a call spread again. It's like, come on, man, make up your mind. SMCI, nice 15-minute chart. So this, Sam, for some reason you were telling me yesterday was zero BTE day, but today is zero BTE day, Sam, just so you know. So now let's look for naked puts on this. I say naked because the spreads, you're not going to get a good credit. Yeah, you use myself all the time. Yeah, we actually had this as a core long and stopped out break even. That's the problem on ADRs kind of stocks. So yeah, it's a bullish gap, but no pattern in me. And JD, you see, JD is an example, Alex, of it's weaker, but it's a better trade setup. We're not looking to marry it, but it's weaker, but it's gapping above these eights. And so the target would be this gap fill, $28. And for a longer term target, I would have to then let it rebuild if it gets up there. So is there, let's go up now. Amazon we talked about. Alpha November. We bought this and we have a put spread. Nice breakout buy setup. Well, we know about Burke. This is I think a German shoe company. Could be a day 30-minute high and zero to two for 22s. Noah, breakdown failure, wide range closing breakout. And the alarm went off earlier. Let me just reset it. So that's wrong. BAC, been watching this all week with Alex. If it can now take out these highs, the only downside is the market's iffy and the XLF is extended. But, just looks like it can go up 1 to 3 days. Hub's alarm just went off for me. Ember's head and shoulder. But this is a pattern I would not touch until I see a close strong. So, we just talked about. So we just talked about, and then we set the alarm 507. I got bottom right. Maybe even 5, 10, 15-minute high. I mean, let's just give it a few minutes. Qualcomm, we did a put spread yesterday, which when I got to Costa Rica and looked at it, which we didn't, but it's the 165, so we're down here. Boeing, we did a condor, sort of the 180 call spread and the 165 put spread. So that's acting perfect. We'll pop one around in the middle. Ever, yeah, that's cleaner. Yeah, that's cleaner with a void. Now remember, I usually don't like these when they come down in one bar, but this one came down in multiple bars. So yeah, I like that. I got an alarm on, no, I don't have an alarm on Bill. I like that. Let's watch it at the open like we always do. 5 minute chart. Bill here now, I'm gonna set an alarm. Since it's retracing, I'll set it at 116. Yeah, so PDD, I actually like that it's coming in. All right, so Dell is already filling the gap, so I probably have no more unless it turns around and takes out a 30-minute high. All right, ever, yeah, looks great, Alex. Yeah, I just personally don't like chasing in the first 5 minutes, but I like it a lot. Target 25.50. Use also. Yeah, don't forget, zero BTE day. There's still no pattern yet, Stephen, to me. It's in a nasty downturn on the 15. I would not touch it yet. SMCI, let me now set an alarm for 458. So I like when the initial moves down a little bit because then you don't have to chase. And then if it takes it out, um, it's a little retard north. So 458, unless zero BTE, unless you're watching to sell them into weakness. It's just unlimited real estate here today. Or, yeah, worthy of the list. Small little grinder. Not sure the target, the 30-minute high. All right, what other zero DTEs did I say you all? Oh, ooh. Wow, that gave it a, and it's a sell setup on the weekly. That could now even be a call spread candidate. MDB, gaps too big, Dollar General, nothing, Intel. Let's watch the pullback. He always disappoints. Oh, this one I said zero DTE. I got an alarm on PDB, so let me see here now. On the low of the day is like 175. There's no weakness. I'll still watch them. Well, no, I'm not. The 65s are 40 cents by 85. What's another? No symbol, Alex. Okay, so look, LRCX did gap up, but that's already failing. Not going to be aggressive. So Autodesk gets too good. Ideally, ideally, swap around. Look at Schwab, man. I wish I got filled on my 62. That's a total beautiful bottoming pattern. I don't expect a lot, maybe 50 MA, but there's so much support here to sell puts. Builder, oh, that thing came in hard. Six Malones, 172. Yeah, we have a put spread on that for September on the advisor. And here's some other ones. Chewy. Remember we got out break even, but I still liked it. I would love it to close like this. And then Monday we will buy half over today's high. Actually, this would be a good one to sell puts on to take ownership if there's any premium. 28.57 is all. Let's move on Excel. Yeah, bottom pattern, 4%. Power 15. Power 15. That would have been a good 15-minute long yesterday. And then you'd just be in management mode now. You're chasing now. To me, if you're thinking that. BMY, it's up 3 bars, top of the range though, John, but it is a bullish trading range and an uptrend with a bullish weekly. So it does look higher. I just don't like the entry right here. Equix, it's wrong. I don't know if you're talking day trade, swing trade. I don't know where your entry and stop is, but I like this a put spread under 809. I remember the stock is very spready though, and there's no weeklies. It's very flat. So, but not me. That is just way too sloppy. So yesterday's high, top and tail, breakout failure. It's Friday, markets are toppy. No sirree. I would recommend you take yourself a mimosa and then just go take your dog for a walk on the beach. Ever here? Okay, so this is good. This is good. This is what I would like it to do. And then bobble around and take out a 30-minute high. And let me now set an alarm 23.95. Yeah, I have an alarm on Hubs. Yeah, my alarm is 5:07. H. I like the consolidation breakout. I don't like all this jump to the left. Check the Cousins, WFC, same, too much junk. Marriott, White House, cruise ship. Nothing going on in nothing of interest in any of those things. Yeah, Mercy, 30-minute high. Here, I don't need ASDC anymore. Mercy. Wow, Sammy boy, the 35 puts, 25 cents by 205. But yeah, I prefer 30-minute high, but your ever alarm just went off. Greg, do you like any of these? In light of everything, I like. What do you think of Ever, Mercy, BAC, 30-minute high? All three of those. What do you think?
I don't know about 30-minute high. Takes The BAC, if it takes out the highs, you just got to do it.
Well, that one's actually posted. Yeah. Yeah, that one's posted as a go already. 30 minutes home. I'm sorry, over the home. But I just like 30 minutes because it gives me more confidence that it's gonna hold.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole idea with the 30-minute thing is part of it is it assumes that there'll be some consolidation versus shooting straight up for 30 minutes, and that's not when kind of 30-minute high you want to buy.
Correct. So on Ever and Mercy, that's my question. Do you want to now buy the high at 742?
That's the trigger, yes, from the daily chart. Yes.
All right, spiders are still holding here. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever telling Alex, I like this. I just wish this had a bottom tail. Um, but yeah, well, and Sam, I saw your mic and finally took off yesterday. So I moved the stuff on that to the week's low. It'll look a whole lot better if it closes right like this or better. Week's low, 36.
Hmm, interesting.
Yeah, I got an alarm up here at the moon. builder low alarm now. Let's see where I put the ribbons.
Just fine, do this. IWM, maybe a gap fill by.
Alta, cut sales outlook.
IWM, maybe a gap fill by. Oh, jeez. Why did it do that?
You know what? Yeah, Greg, there's an echo. We still have a profit on builder despite it going against us. So let's go ahead and close this piece of garbage.
Okay. Can clean house for the weekend. Get rid of it.
This is another beautiful example. Set an MT live. The stock went against me and I still made money. Look at that ugly retracement.
Which you're talking about the 15-minute chart?
No, daily.
Well,
We
I
sold
hear
it.
you, but it's on support, so
Yeah, but I don't like the way it.
then sell it.
Hey, damn. Look at the post. We made that much money in 4 days with it coming down hard. I think it's gone low. Yeah, I guess I missed my alarm. I had an alarm at 174.20. Yeah, it looks good. I don't know who you're talking to. I've never entered it, but I like it. Fighters, yeah. I don't know if it's in the PMI or just more nervousness. But I'm really not getting aggressive.
Damn, part of, I guess, my confusion when you ask me about stuff is my mind immediately thinks directional, and now I see it was a put spread, so I get it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sidelined here. For RCF, probably. Huh? You want to sell it right here, Greg? All right, let's do. I tell you what, we only sold a third. Let's sell a third. Move stop. Yesterday's low. I just made a decision.
Oh, it's crazy, man.
Yeah, I just said I liked it. I'm just, not crazy about the market here. I like the patterns on my list. They are Evgo, looking fantastic.
Hmm.
Yeah, cool. Oh, higher, but forward. WFC looks good too. DXC is posting. All right, Alex, do you have time for a serious question about your assistant, Sam? Half lot of this thing, DHC. We're up 2 pennies of us all, but that's fine. Amazon, yeah, yeah, if you want to, well, enjoy Martha's Vineyard. Yeah, Greg, any interest in this direction? Thing. You know what? Here in Costa Rica, it's 2 hours earlier. I mean, one, because I'm in Dallas, Central Time. But secondly, I guess it's related to, I'm assuming they don't do daylight savings. So, because the last time I was here, it was only 1 hour difference. So, yeah, I had to wake up at 5 a.m. and get ready. Greg, Amazon, yes or no?
Day's not over. Well, it's kind of an anticipatory entry there at the 200. I wouldn't do a full lot.
All right, Alex, so here's the question about Sammy Boy. Since we concluded the other day, he has nothing in common with Workday, and his name is LZB. My question to you is, does he celebrate Labor Day? Hey, actually, let's get for next week. What does Sammy do on Labor Day? It's meant for workers.
Alex, if you see Trump there, please take a picture and send it to Don. Yeah, remember when I was looking at these the other day? The 330s were $1. SMC. Now to get $1, you got to do the four. Well, you can get nine. You can get $1 for the 420s. That's just I don't like this 15-minute breakdown of four. Yeah, no way would I do that. If it took out a 30-minute high, then I'd be all over the 420s or even 430s. All right, SOLD alarm, Greg, that's yours. Looks great.
And reset it.
Yeah. The rain here is crazy, Dan. You missing it?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I saw it in the weather forecast yesterday when we took off. And then number two, There was an article in today's local Sun Sentinel paper that was saying, yeah, rain, rain everywhere and more coming. Yeah, Roberto, I already have it posted as a pending trade. Let me give it to you. ever alarm triggered. Yeah, I'm not crazy about that one, Alex, myself.